Well, howdy doody. I keep forgetting that I need to put on so that y'all can hear me. Good morning. Good morning, all. How we doing today? Make sure we're on over here. Make sure we're live in living color. Y'all remember that show? Anybody remember that show? In living color.
Futures trading is here.
Okay.
Discover an easy to use.
We don't want the music and such. There we are. Okay. Well, it is Thursday, April the 11th. We're here for another pre-market look. Volatility is the name of the game at this point. We've been very volatile here the last couple of days. Inflation data has made us quite volatile. And yesterday we had some interesting movements. Today probably will continue some of the interesting movements, but let's see what we're working with, right? Let's first look at what did yesterday hold for us. Yesterday, let's go to the chart. Okay, I want to go to SPX. Looks like we had a big old green candle that just came through with that inflation data. Right, this is SPX yesterday. Let me turn it to the 15-minute chart. So the 10th was yesterday. We basically spent the consolidation time. We went up as high as the high of this candle is 51.78, and we went down as low as 51.38. So about a 50-point run between the top of this and the bottom of this one. Got about a 50-point move between those two for yesterday. Let's see, S&P yesterday was down $49.27. That's what it shows here, that S&P was down yesterday $49 or 49 points. They don't really put a dollar sign next to it. It's more like 49 points. But this is what happened yesterday. A lot of up and down movement, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Yeah, it was a lot of, I almost said something, a lot of crappy price action yesterday. There was a lot of crappity price action yesterday. And for this morning, looks like we're already getting a little bit of a pump because of the inflation data, the PPI data, I guess, has come out this morning, and we've got a big move. So let's see. Currently, we've got a VIX of 16. Of course, the VIX being up means that premiums are up, means that the market is generally going down. When the VIX is up, generally the market goes down. But we'll see what today, sometimes they send us, they put all this pump up in the market before time just to get you kind of like to grab people. You have to be careful because they'll do stuff to grab your munties and then they'll pull the rug. So you want to be very careful with that. All right. Yahoo Finance says why stocks could still rise even as rate cut hopes fade. Fed risks return to painful inflation lessons of the 1970s. U.S. futures slip with another inflation test ahead. Amazon CEO flags a chance for more cost cuts. Okay. PPI data, Fed speak, CarMax earnings, what to watch, what we're watching today. Okay. The stocks making the biggest moves this morning are Nike, CarMax, Robinhood, and Alpine Immune Sciences. We're actually going to look at those four this morning here on the chart. Do I see some comments? I don't think I see any comments. Want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Okay. We'll look at those four stocks here in a moment. If we look at the pre-markets, though, our pre-markets, according to CNBC, is, well, come on, Cletus. Pre-market. It doesn't want to show me that data. I usually go straight here. Let's see if I just go, there we go. Maybe it'll populate now. Here we go. Dow futures down 0.01%, which basically is flat and probably going to turn green here in a minute. S&P futures green 0.07%. NASDAQ futures green 0.26%. Oil and 10-year bonds are red. Wholesale prices rose 0.2% in March, less than expected. The 10-year Treasury yield thing caused a little bit of ruckus yesterday in the market. The bond auction. European Central Bank holds interest rates, gives strong signal that cuts are on the way. Yeah, oh, that's in Europe. That's a European Central Bank. That is not here. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy in shareholder letter says he's committed to cost cutting while investing in AI. A lot happening there. Let's go see what's happening over in Europe. Europe is a 60-40 red. DAX, FTSE, and FTSE MIB are all down, and CAC and Stock 600 is up. Stock 600 is barely, it's only up 0.02%, so that could very well flip over with no issues. And in Asia, same thing, we're at 60-40 red. ASX, Nikkei, and Hong Seng are all red, and Kospi, Shanghai are all green. We look at these to see what's happening in other markets, to see what could potentially happen in ours. That's why we show those. So those who are like, why do you bring that up? We bring it up because we want to see what's happening in other markets, because it may give us an indication of what's going to happen in ours. Okay, today's Thursday. We had core PPI data this morning. The PPI month over month came in a little red. It was expected to be 0.3%, but it came in at 0.2%. Unemployment claims are down. They thought there would be 216,000 claims. There's 211,000 claims. At 8:45, we're going to have FOMC member Williams speaking. Barkin will speak at 10. Natural gas storage at 10:30. 30-year bond auction does say it's a red folder at 1 o'clock this afternoon. And FOMC member Bostic will speak at 1:30. Okay, that's what's going on with that. Let's go look at, I'm going to stop sharing here so that I can add earnings for this morning, yesterday and this morning. After market closed yesterday, we had Rent the Runway, Richardson Electronics, and Lakeland Industries. That was all yesterday after market. This morning, though, we've had CarMax, Constellation Brands, Fastenal, Lovesac, Cons, Home Plus, Hooker, and NTI. Tomorrow, before, nobody's going after close today. Tomorrow before the open, we're going to have banks. Wells Fargo, BlackRock, Citi, Progressive, State Street, and JP Morgan Chase. All of those are going to report Friday morning before the open. This is basically restarting up the earnings season for second quarter, I guess, where we are, second quarter. And the banks usually lead the way as far as earnings go with that, right? Friday Eve. I was gonna say it's not Friday yet, Janae. I've been telling myself it was Thursday yesterday, and today I want it to be Friday. But happy Friday Eve. Hey, good morning, Janae. Good morning, Tanya. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Tamar. And good morning, Asleen. How y'all doing this morning? So for our Adam Mancini numbers, yesterday, 5142 was key support, and SPX agreed, putting in an incredible 8 tests and actionable bounces with all dips below trapping. Anything below this was just a trapping. Under again now, it remains the key today. Plan today, bulls must reclaim 5142 to rally to 5157. The clock is ticking, it says here. 5121, 5107 are bounce zones if it can't hold 5142. If you're trading XSP, you got 516 on the call side and 510 on the put side. XSP is a cash settled equity. So if you're trading it with credit spreads, or you're trading it buying puts and calls, at the end of the day, if you're in the money, you get the money. At the beginning, at the end of the day, if you're not in the money, you lose the money. That's how it goes if you're a buyer. If you're a seller and your trade is good at the end of the day, then you keep the money you received in your premium. If at the end of the day your trade is not good, they will take the money from your sale. That's how that goes. There's no shares to exchange though, so you don't have to worry about getting assigned or exercise or none of that. You're just working with cash settled. Now there's several of those. There's cash settled. There's SPX is cash settled. You've got let me see, cash settled equities. You've got SPX, you've got XSP, you've got RUT. I want to say DJIA is also cash settled. There may be a few others, but I know those four are cash settled. And a lot of times in our community, we'll trade these, especially as sellers. You don't have to worry about if it doesn't go your way, right? You don't worry about shares getting put into your account. You just trade, and when again, you take in the money in the when soon as you enter the trade as a seller, you take in the money right away. That's how selling works. You get paid right away, immediate monies. And if the trade goes your way, you keep it. If the trade doesn't go your way or you close it, then you give back some of it. That's the way that goes. The gap between the ES and SPX is currently about 50 points, actually about 47 points. I always round it up to an even number, but it's about 47 points is the gap between these two. Okay, today's biggest pre-market movers, we've got Nike, CarMax, Robinhood, and Alpine and something Science. I'll put in Alpine, but I want to go to our chart and see if we can do some charting on these areas. Share screen, share screen, share screen, allow. Let's go see where we are on the chart. Pew, pew, pew. My God did not fail. There's Nike. I think I got to put in the symbol properly. This is what's going on with Nike on the 15-minute chart right now. Right, they were basically down here before. They didn't have earnings, I don't think. What made them pop like this? What made them, this big old candle right here in the middle of the night? Nike must have had news. Let me see what it says here in this lightning bolt. B of A Security upgrades Nike to a buy from neutral. There we go. They rose the price target to 113 from 110. That's what happened. The price target for Nike got raised up, right, from 110 to 113. And once that JP Morgan gave it a boost, then it's got a little bit of a boost. But what we do see here is some resistance here at, come on, Cletus, right here at 91.40. Notice this candle here came in and kind of bumped it. And I know I've got it, the candle's really small because I want you to be able to see what I'm talking about. So when we're here looking at Nike, when you're charting, you should be looking at kind of the big picture. It actually hit a support. It's the same support that was back here from September. It hit that support again in the last recent few days. So it's really kind of doing what it was doing before. Let me see if I can get this gap. There's a gap in here that is going to be waiting to be filled. We've got that too. So I got some resistance right here. And I see a little bit more resistance at the gap. Okay, let me make it bigger so everybody can see what's happening because I also see one up here. The gap is above where you currently are with where current price is. So it's going to provide a little bit of a bump, right? You see it kind of hit here. And if we get past the 91.40, or we got a few gaps between there too that are going to want to be filled. You got this one. There's a gap here, not as big, from 91.89 to 92.49. That's awesome. And then you got this big old gap. The moving averages do have us trickling down, and they've got to bring themselves back. So it looks like there's been about 6 days we've been in this zone that we're currently in, but the pre-market of Nike is at 91. If we look at the pre-market, it's at 91. right? Just below, it's bumping right up into that resistance. So it's got to get past this resistance if it's trying to go higher. This resistance is at 91.40. If you see here, the big green candle went right up to it, and then pulled back and then came back. It's using the moving averages as some support here. But even if it's going up, it's got a few things to work through in order to get moving. If you're trading it as a seller, you could potentially look at support put credit spread, underneath this 88.79. Even you probably can even go to 89. Let me see if I've got us on. Let me trade. I'm gonna look at Nike. Come on. Nike for this week, if you want to look at, listen, Thursdays are a great day to do put credit spreads and call credit spreads because you only got one day that you got to hang in here. So put credit spread, the 89 is a 70% probability out of the money. You may consider the 88, 89. Of course, wait till the market opens to confirm these numbers. But at this point, the 88, 89 strike is paying about $34. When the market opens, it probably won't pay as much. The current price is, current price is $91, but it probably won't pay as much as that. But 88, 89 might be a good place for a put credit spread. Again, not investment advice, but I'm showing you what I see. Put credit spread at or below 89. Since it does seem to do a little, it wants to do a little running between today and tomorrow, all you needed to do as a seller is to stay above your strike. If you pick 89, or you do the 88, 89 put credit spread, then all you needed to do is stay above that 89 in order for you to make your money. I'll check back in on that one. Okay, our next one was CarMax. CarMax. There we go, CarMax. KMX. I'm not sure why I didn't know that was the ticker. Well, CarMax in the pre-market said the biggest movers, it was showing it as a green, not as a red. But at this point, CarMax looking like it's going red. And it could be that, CarMax is, in the cars, obviously in the car space. And what goes on in the car space, especially the lending and in interest rates and all those things, their cars are affected by that, especially if you're, I don't know if I want to say I put CarMax in the subprime lending, but they definitely fall into they're going to be more impacted by interest rates. I'll put it like that. They're going to be more impacted by interest rates. So at this point, we've got CarMax doing a dewdrop in. CarMax is doing a dewdrop in. Looks like they had a big drop in a big gap yesterday between those two. Yep. So I'm on the daily chart. I am. Make it a little bit bigger. See what we see for support. Let me get some lines first before I make it any bigger. There's some support at 79.30. And if I was looking at resistance, it's really just above this gap, which is 83.36. So if we're looking at CarMax, seeing that it is on a downtrend, but it is coming into support. It is coming into a pretty good support right here at 79.30. Two things you can do here. You can, one, wait to see how it bounces off of the 79. Oh, take that back before I go further because I just looked at the pre-market. I'm looking on the daily, and the daily chart doesn't show this. You have to see this pre-market stuff over here. So now I'm retracting my statements. Support now is at 70.21. That's where the one, and current price of the pre-market price of CarMax is at 73. There's some resistance and support even in here, some more. There's a gap here that's going to want to be filled as well that hasn't been filled between these two candles. And the current price and the pre-market is just above this gap that's here this gap was from February of this year, right? So if we were looking at CarMax, it can definitely hit this support and it can bounce. This one would require a little bit more watching just to see what it does today. If I was going to do something though, if I just felt like I really had to trade CarMax, I probably would get below this 67 as far as at or below the 67, right? This current price is 73. It may or may not be premiums here. Or you can get above, well, you're at the gap right here, and it may just bounce off this gap. So that's something you want to keep in mind as well. So because you really could use 70 if it's at the top of this gap, you could use this 70 as another place that you could potentially get below this gap. You could also do it at or below 70 under the bottom of the gap. Okay, let's go look real quick on this is not going to be accurate because the market isn't open. So if we look at our numbers, I mean, it's currently at 72. These numbers are pretty accurate. Actually, the probability I have the money 70 or 71 is a 70 and 76. So but if you do like a 69.70, put credit spread, it's paying $15. The market's closed, so you're going to wait till the market opens to confirm the numbers, to confirm this, how much money you're going to make. But 69.70 may work because it's currently at 72 and it's got a plus minus 5. That's a little more than I'd want a plus minus 5, especially if it's coming into the zone. It needs to bounce really well for you to feel comfortable. The other thing you can do here, though, is look at above this and maybe get to a call credit spread up in here. Call credit spread 77 or above. You can do that too. That way you're staying above this. It's kind of coming in. It may bounce plus minus 5. If it's at 72, then if you're at 77, you're kind of out of the danger zone. So call credit spread may be a better move just because it's going down, but you're not going to get as much in premiums if it's going away from your strike. So keep that part in mind. Current price is 72.56. The next one we're looking at is Robinhood. Robinhood is what's next. Also, it's in the pre-market at $17. If I was putting some lines on, I'd put one here at $19.25. If I was putting some support on, I'd put it here at $17.19. Now the price is pretty close to that 17 in the pre-market, so you definitely are going to want it to bounce between now and tomorrow. This is definitely a zone down here in the 16s. Right, you got the moving averages. The moving averages are turned down. So you could do a call credit spread. Is actually another resistance right in here. 1888. Ooh, 8's my favorite number. Robinhood markets could do, let's go back and check out Hood over here on the chart. On the option chain. See what our strikes are saying. Call credit spread, 70% probability is 18.5. You could go up to 19 as well. Let's change it to vertical, 18.5. Looks like it's paying, nope, I need the bid. Looks like it's paying $15 for 18.5, 19. So $15 of premiums, if you're only leveraging $50 of collateral, is really good. That's about a 30% return on that trade. Right? And the 19.5 is only paying $6 for you get one half a strike away. That could also be what you want. 18.5, 19. And if you were looking for underneath it, looks like 17.5. It's a 0.6, right? Like it looks like 17.5. I probably would go down to 17 when the market opens because it may come in a little hotter than that. At this point, that's paying $1, but the market is closed. So these numbers definitely are probably going to adjust I'm sure they'll adjust once the market opens. Alrighty, let me go back to that chart so I can put that on there. I would look at a PCS at 18.5 or above. And if I was looking at a CCS, that's a CCS, sorry. That's not a PCS. That's a CCS. And a PCS, I would put, I wouldn't want to go as low as the 16, but 17 or below. If you can go to the 16 comfortably and still get premiums that you're looking for, then go for it. Then go for it. Definitely should you want to get as, far enough away as you possibly can without so you don't get burned. It's I think we're at a point 0.6 is the um plus minus number, and the current price is at 17.8. So if you're at 17 or below, you're probably going to be okay. Applied, what did we say it was called? Something about science. It didn't say DNA science. What did it say? Top movers. I want to say it said applied something science. There was something written in the middle. I don't think it's DNA sciences, but it could be. It didn't say DNA. It said something else. Now I don't remember where it was, but I don't want to. I don't want us to chart the wrong thing. This is 0.4. This is definitely not it. Alpine. Is it Alpine or applied? Somehow I wrote Alpine. There we go. Alpine Immune Sciences. There we go. This looks right. Alpine Immune, not applied. I was like, what? I knew they said something. This is the big move that's happening, and this is what happened yesterday. They're a $47 stock. They had a big move yesterday. Must have gotten some news. Let's see what happens here. Wolf Research downgrades Alpine Immune Sciences to peer perform from outperform. Sector update: healthcare stocks are steady pre-bell Thursday. Vertex Pharmaceuticals. This is it got downgraded, and then it had this big old bump. That's interesting. Pre-market, it's at $64. Woo! Talk about a jump. It went from 47 up to 64. That's what, a $17 jump is where it is in the pre-market. Now, again, not speculating, but generally when stuff jumps like that, it comes right on back down because the people who've been holding, when it gets up there, they sell. They go, oops, $17 jump, take my monies. And people sometimes ride it back down. So yeah, I definitely would want to look for you all to check and make sure before you did anything with Alpine that you watch to make sure which direction it was going. All right, this is what's happening here. It's all, see, it's come up here, but it's kind of hanging steady. It's not like it came up here and ran anymore. It's just kind of holding. This is the current price at 64.21. I'm trying to make it bigger so everybody can see what's happening in the pre-market, post and pre-market. So it's got a little bit of up and down movement, but it's not a whole lot, right? We're a little bit higher than we were when it first popped up. But this big old gap that it created, this big old gap that it's going to create, is the market's going to want to feel it. The market's going to want to feel it. This is ALPN. ALPN. You want to watch for the big old gap. Going to watch for that big old gap. I know I've got some comments here that I can't see. Let me get off this screen so I can see the comments. Come on, Cletus. There we go. Well, maybe not. I don't see any comments there. Maybe not. The comments are not in YouTube. Perhaps they are only in CarMax earnings now. When is earnings this minute? Why was CarMax on our list? CarMax wasn't on our earnings list. Oh, yes, it was. Duh. It's right here. Thursday morning, CarMax is what we had for earnings, and it did definitely pull back a bit for sure. And hey, Lisa. Cash settled. Thank you, Jamie, for putting all those other ones in there. DJX, not DJIA. DJIA is not, repeat, not cash. Wonder why he's so strongly saying DJIA is not cash settled. You think he might know something? Maybe a friend of his traded DJIA and found out it was not cash settled. Only a friend. Maybe a friend did that. CarMax had earnings today. Definitely don't go with DJIA as far as cash settled. I'll take that comment off because I don't want this to be in YouTube and the folks come back like you put something inaccurate in your thing there. Okay, we looked at our four charts this morning. I think we looked at four. We looked at Nike, Robinhood, CarMax, which is having earnings this morning, and Alpine. Alpine Resources is all that we looked at. Also, I want you to take we're good, the market's getting ready to open here. But if you see some things on our regular list here, you may want to, today, Thursday is always a good day to get in credit spreads. You may want to check something off this list and see if there's some interesting pieces. I know Amazon is moving. Uber, I thought I fixed this. Uber is moving 73.74. Is also going at this point. As the markets get ready to open, I want you to go and start with the chart, right? It's a free webinar. You can go check this out. It's going to help you with charting. Y'all saw how I put some stuff on a chart real quick. There's so much more to go on a chart than what I put there, but I just put the basics. But I want you to know, if you don't even know what I was just doing, then you need to, go ahead and check on start with the chart. If you are in our community and the options 411 6-week coaching, tonight is our meeting. Tonight. We're going to have our coaching tonight, our live coaching this evening, and we're going to learn about charting. We're learning about charting tonight. All right. So go ahead and check that out. Also, if you're in my community, plan to see me tonight at 8 o'clock. That's what time we get together. Let's go see if we can see what the market's doing now that it has just dinged and it is now open. Now that the market is open. Nope, that's Jamie with those friends, Janae. That's Jamie with those friends. SPX. We gapped up, but we're red. We're currently at 51.73 this morning. Gap up, but it's red. That's SPX. Let's look at SPY. SPY does, because it has movement. You can see the pre-market, but from yesterday's close here, it would also be a gap up. It's currently at 515.50. Let's look at some of the big boys. Tesla is moving on up. Tesla's moving on up, right? We've got that moving on up at this point. Let's see what Apple's doing. Apple's green jumped up off this trend line that we had on the chart from a while back. That's Apple. AMD was another morning mover. This big candle here was in the pre-market. AMD was on the list. Intel was on the morning market movers or biggest movers this morning. I wonder why all these things had this big jump at 8:30 was the time that the meeting minutes, or not meeting, the data was released. PPI came out at 8:30. That's why you got all these big candles. Intel also was there. Let's look real quick at Intel and see if there may be an opportunity for a trade on Intel. Intel just don't want to get out its own way. So the opportunity might be one on a call credit spread. I do see support right where we are right now based on October. Come right into this zone from back here. Okay. And there is resistance just above it at 36. If I was going 38.95, sorry. If I was going to look at Intel, I probably would look at a call credit spread because it doesn't seem to want to do. But keep in mind that it's at 38.95. Let's go back to Intel. I want to take another look at Nike and Alpine before I close. This is Robinhood, and that was Intel we were just checking out. Intel, if you're looking at 38.5, that's an 87% probability of the money. 38 is a 76% probability out of the money. So 38.5 is going to pay $7 at this point. Paying $7. Okay, let me say we're going to look at Nike. Nike seems to be still holding steady. I only want one of these. Just give me one. Where are you, Nike? There we go. He's still making a pop. It's at 9. It went up as high as 92. Might want to consider that put credit spread for Nike. What's that? Oh, I want to look at that Alpine. Alpine is yet holding up in the 64s. I'm yet holding on, and I won't let go my faith. Where are we? There we are. Make it bigger so we can see these little bitty candles. Well, this is what's happening at Alpine. People are selling. They're like, ooh, got money. They're selling a little bit. So keep that in mind as it does its thing. Anytime it pops up like that, people will definitely come in and do profit taking. As you put it, people will come in for profit taking. Okay. Stop sharing that. The E2T membership is open and available always 9:30 morning calls, 9 or 9:30, depending on which day it is. Weekly training calls we have, and this week's for the next several weeks are going to be on Thursdays. They were on Wednesdays for a while. They've moved to Thursdays, and they may stay on Thursday. It depends on how my life goes. And then monthly coaching call happens on the first Saturday of every month. We have a Telegram group where we hang out together. We trade together, we learn together, we commiserate when it goes, when it goes well, we celebrate. When it doesn't go so well, we commiserate. All that stuff happens together because trading can be so very lonely. And we basically know that we're better together. We're definitely better together. All right. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Right? Like and subscribe to the channel. Hang out with us more perfectly. Every time I pop up something, you might want to see, well, what is going on over there? What is she doing? What they doing? What they doing over there? Okay, let's do our trader's declaration. If all hearts and minds are clear, as they say in church, I declare I'm a great trader. I declare I'm a successful trader. I declare I'm a focused trader. I declare my wins exceed my losses. My accounts grow more and more each week. I'm a wise and knowledgeable trader. I always make smart and lucrative decisions for my portfolios. I declare I'm a level-headed trader who does not trade my emotions. Our prayer is, Lord, it's you who gives us the power to get wealth. You teach our hands to war with the purpose of establishing your kingdom. Help us today to trade wisely and strategically in order to fulfill this purpose. Give us more than enough so we can have what we need and enough to be a blessing to others. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen, amen. All righty. So we got a couple things we need to do today. We got a couple things we need to do. Let me pop back real quick to SPX so we can see if it's done anything in the few minutes we just was looking at. All right. 5166. This is XPX, I believe. Go to a 15-minute chart. If you're in my community, I put a video in our chat about the breakout strategy. You might want to consider that gap from the morning is filling. Gap is filling. It gapped up to open, but it is filling that gap right away. Right away. Listen, you need to always know that the market will do stuff to shake you out of your plays. Just because it pop at 9:31, don't mean it's going to pop all day long. Right? You know, just because she was popping at 18, don't mean she's going to be popping at 58. Just she could be though, because listen, Black don't crack. She could still be popping at 58, but it might be a different kind of pop. Maybe she popping in church at 58. I don't know why I went there. I don't know why I went down that road. Oh my goodness. Somebody come get me. It's time for the market for this call to end. so that way I can quit tripping. That's why we can. How about we do that? How about you just do that, little lady? You go ahead and end your call so you can quit tripping. Right. Jamie said, what in the world? G Zone, G Zone, come and get me, G Zone. Whew, 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 whew. Shoot, and let me share the well. Just because he popping at 18, don't mean he gonna be popping at 58. Cause I knew some fine dudes from school at 18 who right now, eh. You know how you be hoping. I'm finna get off of here, but you know how you be hoping somebody wants you, like, oh yeah, I want them, da da da. You look up later and you're like, Lord, thank you for the blessing of a no. Thank you for the no blessing. There's a blessing behind closed doors. Some folks you looking at now like, what? Tanya said I had to stop working and laugh at that one. It could be for the men or the women. Cause it's y'all know I'm not lying. There's some fine dudes who ain't fine no more. He 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 ain't fine no more. Y'all already know. Jamie says, please terminate this transmission expeditiously before you end up in trouble. Okay, well, I'm giving a pre-calculus test today, and I don't know if they ready for me, but I'm ready for them. Okay, I will talk to you all later. I'll see you in the chat. Let's do three things today. Woo, woo, woo. We went from two things to three things. Three things. One, I want you to stay green. Two, I want you to get this, buddy. Three, I want you to have a great green day. All right, I'll see you all in the market. Goodbye before I end up in trouble. Goodbye, everyone.